In this first tutorial I'm going to show you how you can sign into Twinery or go to the website, and also how you can make your first few parts of your story. So to get to Twinery, all you need to do is just type in the web address, which is twinery.org, and when it loads it looks like this. Now we're going to use it online, but you can actually download it if you want to. So I'm just going to use it online. Now Twinery is pretty cool that you don't have to sign up, you don't have to create an account, because everything you make is saved in your browser. To make a story, you just click on the story button, pretty straightforward. So we'll just click in here, and I'm just going to call this one test, and just press add, and when you do that it goes into this view. Now what I'm going to do now is just quickly show you a story I've already written and show you how it all links up. As the way Twinery works is that it lets you do sequences of stories, but also lets you have options, which is really cool for letting you have choices in your story and let people follow their own path. So you can see in this story here it starts off in a sequence, and then at this point in Arrival it splits, and you can see it's splitting over and over again all through here. So in this first video I'm going to show you how you can do simple step-by-step stories, and also how you can have options in your story. So this is my first passage. Now obviously I'm just going to write some nonsense in here, but you can write your real story. So to edit the passage, I'm just going to press the pencil icon. So I'll call this start, and I'm just going to add some writing here. Okay, so that might be my story. Now what I want to do is give the person reading it some narrative or something interesting to move on to. So what I'm going to do now is make the next part of my story. Now to do this in Twinery, we need two closed brackets, and I'm going to have some something that makes them click. So I'm going to say click here to continue. Obviously if this was your story you could actually have some of the story there. So I'm just going to do a dash, then an arrow, and I'm going to call this next page. Obviously you want to do something a bit more creative, and close brackets. So that the syntax of this is quite important. Two square brackets, the text that you want to use is the link, this arrow, and then the actual next passage you're going to go to. So I've created the next passage just by writing the word next page and then the two square brackets. If I close that now, you'll see that it's created a new passage called next page, and you can see that that's ready to go. So if I double click on here to edit, I can now write in here. Okay, so I might do something like you come to a small fork in the road. Okay, so this is where we get some suspense and interest in our story, because people are going to get the option to have a choice. Do you? Here we go. So I'm going to have a choice. So same as before, two square brackets. The right path, and I want the arrow again. Okay, and I'll just call this, I'm not very creative, so I'll just call it right path, and then I'll do this again. Take the left path, and again. Now you can probably guess what's going to happen now. It's going to create two boxes, one called right path, one called left path, for my story, and it will actually link them off, a bit like a flow diagram. Okay, and there we go. So probably the next thing you need to know is, well, what does that actually look like when we play the game? It's always a good idea to test it. You can test individual boxes using the bug, or you can test the whole game from the start by pressing play. So if I press play, just wait for this to load. It does take a few moments. You can see it's not very interesting at the moment. We can customize it later. Here's my writing. Click to continue, and you can see there's my option. Do you take the right path, take the left path? So if I click there, you can see I haven't done anything there, and the users can always go back like this to the beginning. So what I've just shown you there is how to get to Twinery, how to create your first passage, how to create a sequence passage, and also how to create choices. And if I just go back to the editing mode, you'll see in here I can have 3 choices if I want. I just decided to do 2. So that's the basic introduction to story writing in Twinery.